I like rusty spoons.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. Hey, this is Megan.
And Sue in the restricted section.
And today we are doing the BookTubers BookTube BookTube book tag.
The BookTube BookTubers BookTube book tag.
Whatever, 2.0.
Yes, and we were tagged in this by Allie from Hardback Hoarder.
Yes.
And the original tag was done by Stripped Cover Lit. So we'll put both of those videos. We'll put Stripped Cover Lit's 2.0 video
Down below.
And Allie's video down below.
Yes, and we are drinking this Samuel Smith's Organic Chocolate Stout.
Yes.
Yes.
And mine has a lot of head on it because I did a shitty job of pouring this one for some reason.
That's okay, head happens. Cheers. It's quite chocolatey.
It's tasty. It's pretty sweet though.
Very sweet.
But it is tasty. And also we did the first BookTube BookTubers BookTube book tag.
Yes, we did.
So if you want to check that out, we'll put that below too, so you can check out all the people that we talked about in that tag are people we still love.
Yes,
so
very much.
Go check them out too.
Definitely.
But the concept of this tag is that you choose some of your favorite booktubers and you pick a book for them based on like
their personality or their style,
characteristics, whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
So what we usually do is just kind of list some of the characteristics for these booktubers and then come up with a eloquently worded description and a book that fits it.
Yes. And we don't have any of the books to show because we're lazy.
We are, in fact, quite lazy.
If I'm not lazy while editing, maybe I'll put pictures in.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see if I do that.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. And so the idea also is that if we mention you, then like you're tagged to do this tag. And also you're supposed to also do the person who tagged you.
Right, include the person who tagged you as one of your picks.
So we're starting with Allie.
Yeah, yes.
From Hardback Hoarder who tagged us.
And what we said for her was a well-written, mature YA book.
Yes, because Allie, she reads everything, but she does read a lot of YA, which isn't something we're generally interested in, but when I watched her videos, like, I really liked her personality.
Yeah, me too.
So I went ahead and subscribed to her anyway, even though I was like, oh, she reads a lot of YA, which, you know, again, nothing against YA.
Right, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just not our thing. Right.
But as I continued to watch her channel, I realized that, like, even though she's usually talking about YA, she does talk about other books, other kinds of books too, but she talks about them in a way that actually does make me want to read them.
Yeah, like I actually give a shit about them. Like I really care about it the way that she talks about it, and she's very she's really like quick-witted and like intelligent, and I enjoy listening to what she has to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also really funny and adorable.
She's super funny and cute. Yeah. Definitely.
I chose The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, which is, I mean, I don't think YA existed when this book was written. But by today's standards, I think it would be considered a YA book. And it's written in a little bit of an odd manner, I think, because it is, you know, Holden Caulfield's voice, and it's very, like, simple and kind of repetitive. But it's also just really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not that Allie's simple and repetitive. You know.
But you know.
The book, I think, is like, it's well written and it's very symbolic and mature.
Yeah, very cool. I said The Prince of Mist by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I love him as an author, and this book was, I didn't really realize it was a YA book until I was like halfway through it and then read like other people's reviews of it, and they were like, oh, this was a YA book, because it was so well written and just very mature, and there weren't a lot of those like stupid tropes. There was a little bit of like the insta-love thing, but it wasn't terrible. And plus this book was like, it was kind of a creepy YA book. It was kind of like a horror type thing, And it was actually really creepy. Like, the creepy parts of it were really well done and were very effective. It creeped me out. So it was a really good book. Yeah, I loved it.
So the next person we chose is Monse from the Rejected Manuscript.
And for Monse, we said a book that is a middle finger to society.
Yeah, and fun fact, we were actually going to put Monse in our first BookTubers BookTube book tag.
Right.
But we didn't know how to pronounce her name.
We skipped it. Like, what?
But
Yeah.
now we know.
And we still love her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Monse is definitely like...
She gives no
yeah,
fucks.
She gives no fucks. She's like, fuck everything.
Fuck
I'm
everything.
gonna do what I want.
I like what I want to do.
So the book I chose was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Because, according to the author, the book is about, like, how television is rotting our minds. And so he's like, fuck all you people.
Fuck you bitches.
Most people think it's about censorship, though, which is also a fuck you, so...
Right. So it's
fuck everyone.
Fuck you squared. Fuck everyone.
Fuck you to the power of 2.
A little bit of fuck you for everybody. I said Herland by Charlotte Perkins Gilman because this is a book about an all-female society, and they're basically saying, like, the men in this book kind of stumble upon the society and they're like constantly surprised that women can do things, and so the book is kind of like a satire, and it's kind of like, hey, fuck you, like, women can do shit too. And it was written in like the 19-teens, I think, and so it was like an especially big fuck you at the time. I really dug it. I thought it was fitting.
Okay, the next person on our list is Graham from Mega Man Chief Fan.
Because we adore Graham.
Yes.
He's
I love
precious.
that guy.
Yes. And for Graham, we said a book that got you really excited.
Yes, because Graham is very enthusiastic.
Super enthusiastic.
He does these book rants.
Yes.
Where he just, rants about the books he's reading, and he just, I love that he gets so
real into it.
about the books, whether it's
good or
enthused
bad.
that they're amazing and he loves them, or that they suck and he hated it. Either way, he's really excited about it, and I love it.
And I like that he can just be like talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, listen up!
Yes. I love Graham.
Love Graham.
So the book that I chose is one that actually he mentioned in a video recently that he was going to read this soon. And that is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. This book, I just loved it, and it got me excited because I didn't know about HeLa cells, and so I was like, this is really cool.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
Like, the science of HeLa cells was really cool, and then also, the way that, Henrietta Lacks and her family saw, like, none of the benefits of this got me, like, excited in a negative way. In a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
Outraged.
So, yeah.
Very cool. I said The Hobbit by Tolkien because Lord of the Rings can be a little bit like... It's a little bit hard to get through sometimes because it's really tedious. And so I read The Hobbit, which for some reason I had never read before.
I hadn't either.
I don't know how I made it this long without reading that, but it just made me really excited and just really happy, and I really enjoyed it, and I just got excited about Tolkien again, which was cool.
I really want to reread The Lord of the Rings. Maybe we should do that next year.
Hey, maybe we should.
Because I haven't read that since I was a child.
Yeah, I haven't read it in many moons.
I loved it then. I'm pretty sure when I was a kid I read all 3 books, like,
back to back.
Bam, 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 because I was like,
this is so much fun, I gotta read the book. Yeah.
Next on our list is Adam from Memento Mori.
And for this we said, a book you might find a hipster reading in a coffee shop, because Adam describes himself as a hipster douche.
Well, he described his drinking coffee and videos as things a hipster douche would do, which, we're right there with you with our craft beer.
Yeah. We are equally as hipster as you, Adam, and probably equally douchey as well. So,
for sure.
And we love Adam.
Yeah, we love Adam. We're not saying he's a hipster douche.
No, Adam is probably like one of my top 3 fave booktubers.
Yeah, I love his videos. He's very sassy.
Love it. Love it.
Alright, so I chose the book Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut because I feel like a hipster would think they were real cool reading some Vonnegut.
I think so. I actually had a conversation with someone in a Barnes & Noble once about how Kurt Vonnegut is like the hipster author.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Jack Kerouac.
That probably too, yeah. I said Fight Club.
I feel like that's kind of pretty hipstery too.
Yeah, like I could imagine like a dude in like a flannel shirt with a beard and like a pompadour with some
Who's
thick
never
black
been in a
glasses.
fight in his life.
Never ever. Just sitting in a coffee shop, drinking his latte, and reading some Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so next we have Stephanie from That's What She Read.
And we love her channel name.
Yeah, favorite channel name.
Eva. And
Of
so,
all time, probably.
Yeah.
That's What She Read. Like, why didn't we think of that?
Now.
I guess there's two of us, so it kind of wouldn't have worked as well.
That's what we read.
That's what we read.
That's what we read. Anyway, for her we said a clever, intelligent horror novel.
Yes, because her channel name was Clever and Intelligent, so and she's obviously clever and intelligent, and she also likes horror.
Right.
So we went with a horror novel.
Definitely.
And I chose This Book Is Full of Spiders by David Wong. This is a comedy horror, and there's like these weird spider creatures that like live in your throat and control you, and it's like, it's pretty creepy in some ways, but it's also really funny and clever, and I really enjoyed it.
Very cool. I said Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. This is a book about the zombie apocalypse, and they think that they have it all under control, and then things go to shit. So, but it's just like really, really well written. Like Colson Whitehead can fucking write, and it's just like super well written, like really intelligent and well thought out, I feel. So I think it fits her pretty well.
So the next person that we chose is Amanda from A Scientist Reads.
Yes, and what we said for her was a science fiction book that made you want to learn more about the science behind the book.
Yes, because as her channel name might imply, she is in fact a scientist.
Yeah.
And she reads a lot of sci-fi and also a lot of nonfiction books about science.
Yeah.
And she also just started this series where she's doing like the science of this and that. She just did the science of beer.
Sorry, my dog's being a baby.
The science of beer, which of course we thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the book I chose was Dune by Frank Herbert. I thought that their suits, I can't remember what they're called now, but the suits they wore to keep all the moisture in so that they could use every drop of moisture in their body, wouldn't lose any of it out on the planet Dune. I thought that was really cool. And also, this isn't really a real science that you could study and look more into, but I also really liked the sandworms and how they worked and the whole ecology of Dune. I found that really interesting, and so like in my edition there was like a section on the ecology of Dune, and I was like,
which is pretty awesome.
Fascinating. I really liked that part. So
that's fair. I said Dawn by Octavia Butler. And again, this isn't necessarily real science, but the spaceship that the aliens use in Dawn is a living thing. Mm-hmm. And so like when you're out like walking around or whatever, and like if you're eating something, you can just kind of like move the floor and like put it in there, and like it'll kind of feed the ship or whatever. And then they also come up with these really cool like pods where people can live, but they're part of the like, branches of this tree that is also the ship. And it makes all of the food that you need and all of like everything that you need. So the ship itself is like a living organism, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I would like to learn more about the science of that, which again is not really a real science, but that's okay.
All right, the next person on our list is Acacia Ives.
And for Acacia, we said a book that gives a voice to mental illness, because Acacia is very outspoken and very much an advocate for mental health and mental illness, and
I think is wonderful.
Yeah, we love that. So absolutely, I work in that field, and so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I chose the book The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I feel like this book really especially gave a voice to like women with mental illness, because, you know, there were books before that, but this was like one that really had an impact.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it's a good one. I said Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things by Jenny Lawson. Jenny Lawson, much like Acacia, is very like transparent about her struggles with mental illness, which is really brave and awesome.
Next we have Simon from Savage Reads.
Yes, and for Simon we said a book that was an absolute delight.
Because that is just the best word I would use to describe Simon. It's just delightful.
He's delightful to watch.
Like adorable and delightful, I think.
Yes. I would agree.
Yeah, so I chose a book that we talk about all the time, but it's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Yeah, this book was just a delight. I mean, there's some you know, sad parts, one in particular.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just a book about all these people who are very different in many different ways, who are a family and come together and support each other.
Definitely.
It's just delightful.
It's delightful. And we loved it.
Yes.
Yes. I said The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. There's some dark shit in this book, but I really I just enjoyed reading it. And like when I got done reading it, I didn't really want to read anything else. I had a really bad book hangover. I was afraid to read something after it because I was like, this is not going to compare.
I've been that way before. I read a book that's so good, I'm like, oh, anything I read next is going to seem like shit compared to this book, even if it's not that bad.
Right? And like I had to take up like a couple of days to like really think about it, and I've since like recommended it to pretty much everyone. Like my copy's on loan right now just because I was like, here, read this. So yeah, it was delightful. I loved it.
Alright, the next person we chose is Janelle from The Page Turner.
And for her we said a deep, thought-provoking feminist read.
Yes, because Janelle is all of those things, and she really when she does her book reviews and stuff, she really gets deep into the book and talks about.
She really dives in there.
Yeah, which I love. So the book I chose was Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, because for me, this had a lot of ideas that were different. I mean, you know, a lot of feminist books are by white ladies, you know?
Yeah.
And so she talked about a lot of things that affect black women that I had never experienced and hadn't really thought about in regards to feminism. And yeah, it really made me think about a lot of stuff.
Definitely. I said The Geek Feminist Revolution by Cameron Hurley. This was a collection of essays, and it talked about a lot about like women in geek culture, which I thought was really interesting. And then there was a whole little part in there about like female like sci-fi authors, and like how it's been like a really big struggle for women to get accepted in that community. Which is funny because, not haha funny, but like sad funny. Interesting funny.
Yeah. Because wasn't like the first sci-fi novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, who's a woman?
Right. You would think.
Wasn't that like
one of the very first?
The OG sci-fi novel?
The OG?
Yeah. Yes. Mary Shelley's the OG.
She the OG.
What were we doing? The next person. The last person.
Yes.
The last channel.
The last channel that we're
talking. The last channel. Yes. Is Game of Tomes.
Game of Tomes.
We discovered this channel fairly recently. Well, they just started their channel fairly recently.
Yeah.
And it's two girls, two friends, much like us.
Just like us. Hey. That's what we do.
Anyway, we didn't know the description. We should do that part.
And that is a really fun book that you wanted to tell a friend about.
Yeah, because they're both just funny and fun. And
a couple of fun gals.
Yeah, they have fun on their channel like we do.
Yes.
They don't drink beers, though.
They probably have more fun if they drink beer.
Maybe. You don't need alcohol to have fun, Megan.
That's true.
It helps, though.
It helps.
I chose Apocalypse Cow by Michael Logan, which is another horror comedy novel. I like horror comedy.
If you ever wrote a book, it would be a horror comedy book.
Yeah,
I
should do that.
You totally should.
I should have done NaNoWriMo. Anyway, Apocalypse Cow.
Yes.
It's about this zombie outbreak that starts with cows at this abattoir.
Which is not as nice as it sounds.
No.
An abattoir is not a nice place.
No, I didn't really know that word until I read this book. Because here we just call them slaughterhouses.
Right, which is exactly what it
sounds like. But I guess in England they call them abattoirs.
So it's not. Someone's not so fancy.
It sounds like a place I'd want to go, but no, it's not. Very misleading.
No.
Anyway, so it starts with this abattoir, and these cows become like these flesh-eating zombies. And then it spreads to, like, they think that they've got it under control because they torch the abattoir. But one cow escapes. And then all mammals become infected with this zombie virus, except humans. It doesn't affect humans. But all other mammals, so you got, like, dogs and cats, rats, mice, little fucking furry animals that can get in your house. All of them become these like flesh-eating zombies. And I don't know. I just love this book. It was like right up my alley. It's not for everyone for sure because it is really it's pretty gory. It's got some fucked up stuff in it. The characters are not very likable, really. One of them is, but the other two, nah. But I just thought it was really funny and just a great time.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I said Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I don't read a lot of YA. I don't typically enjoy YA as much as I enjoy other things. But I thought this was kind of a cool concept that they took, like Cinderella, and made it sci-fi. Yeah. I think it could have been done better, but that's a sidebar. That's a whole sidebar thing. But I was kind of excited about this series just for that reason. Like, well, this is Cinderella as a cyborg. Like, that's really cool. And so I actually did tell a friend about it, and she read it. So,
yeah, and I tell everyone about Apocalypse Cow, but I don't think anybody's read it yet because they're like, that sounds weird.
I would like to read it. I would like to borrow it from you, actually.
I really need to read the sequel, but I just haven't had time yet.
It's just called World War Moo, which is equally funny.
Yeah. So that was our BookTube BookTubers BookTube book tag.
We said that together, and that one's a hard one.
So yeah, like we said, if we mentioned you, then consider yourself tagged.
You are tagged.
And you're supposed to put us in your tag.
I'm just saying. And please don't describe us as those obnoxious people. those two annoying bitches that are always drunk. We're always drinking beer. So this beer.
Yeah, it's good. I downed mine pretty quickly.
It's really sweet. Like, I don't
It is really
care
sweet.
for how sweet
like,
it is.
I wouldn't want to drink more than this, probably. But it's pretty tasty.
It tastes good. It's way too sweet.
We hold it up again so they can see it.
Yeah.
It says, you can't read it because it's in, like, italics.
Yeah, that's a weird font.
Theobroma Cocoa.
Okay.
Whatever that is. Am I supposed to be impressed?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, this is pretty good. It's British. This is from Yorkshire.
Ooh.
The oldest brewery in Yorkshire, it says. That's how you pronounce it, right? Yorkshire?
Yorkshire? I think so.
Yeah, that's going to be it for us, though.
Yeah, so there will be a subscribe button. You can click it.
You can click that. There'll also be links below where you can find us other places on social media.
Truth.
Thanks for watching. Bye.